further reflection on the competition that is coming at Tesla from Apple and in particular Waymo. I came across an interview with Dmitry Dolgov today, the CTO of Waymo. So I want to share some of my thoughts and some of the comments that were made. This is a Not Even Wrong podcast. It's December 22nd, 2020. This is Krim Delco. For the day, the fund is up 2%. The market's down 20 basis points. We're up 400%. The market's up 13.5%. We're outperforming by 386.5%. If you put $100 in Orange Capital Partners on January 1st, 2020, you would have $500 today, and you would have $113.5 if you had done the same thing with the S&P 500 index. We continue to have a very, very good performance on the CRISPR side. The CRISPR stocks keep rallying. In particular, I think it's the CRISPR editing stocks, so Editas and CRISPR Therapeutics. We also had a very good performance of PacBio and Fate Therapeutics, which is good to see that those new additions now start to deliver some substantial returns. No specific news, but I would say in general, the theme of our CRISPR index is working out in partly also with all this health issues that we're having. It just underlines the importance of science, the importance of translation of new concepts and engineering practices into biology and life sciences. We are cognizant of the risk. We only need one patient to have a problem with gene-edited therapies, and then we will have an issue with this. But nevertheless, we believe that the innovation stack being built, the knowledge base being built is still worth an investment. And even though we could face a correction, we believe we would end up with a wealth-creating portfolio here. Now let's get back to the conversation. The first episode of today was about Apple and the Apple car. Actually, it's interesting that Elon Musk tweeted today that he was thinking of selling the company to Apple during the Model 3 production hell. And it just underlines how life is. This wasn't that long ago. It's certainly $500 billion ago in terms of market cap. And the questions now arise, well, does that mean that Musk doesn't believe in his company? Would he be a seller at this level? What does this actually mean? I don't think it means much for today. It just underlines that an entrepreneur, a visionary like Elon Musk, had an issue. He saw his company crumble. He saw the risk of potential financial issues. If you can't deliver on the Model 3, you're building this massive infrastructure to deliver hundreds of thousands of cars, and then you don't have the production, so you're really running into a massive problem there, and Apple could be the savior if nothing else. And I think as an entrepreneur, you're thinking financially, you're thinking about your investors, but your employees, of course. I'm sorry, I should have said that first. You're thinking about your employees. You're thinking about all the people that have contributed to this at this point, and you're having an issue that can be solved, but you have a liquidity and issue, and you have a belief issue, a proof of concept issue, and who else than Apple, who's buying, they're buying tens of billions of dollars of stock every year. Why wouldn't they just buy the company, save it, and run with it, and create a fantastic integrated software, hardware, car type business? Well, they didn't want to do it. Apparently, Tim Cook was not interested, and that's fine. That's Apple's business. I just want to underline the rationale behind back then trying to sell the company. It was not all, let me make a few bucks and I'm happy to make 60 billion with this. Musk has a clear understanding of where this needs to go. This has to become a very large company. He has the resources to do it now by himself, and he doesn't need any help anymore. And this is the end of that story. But it brings me now to the question of Waymo. Actually, I've discussed Apple this morning. I want to talk about Waymo. Dmitry Dolgov's comments on the Lex Friedman podcast made me think about Waymo also as a competitor. And I think Waymo is a serious competitor. Same like Apple. They have a few strengths that cannot be underestimated. But overall, I would say as a Tesla shareholder, I'm not too concerned about Waymo because I think the manufacturing prowess and the ability to deliver at scale is not going to be there with Waymo. Now, they have a software. They have the self-driving software in Phoenix, which is riding on a particular stack that they've built for that. And according to Dolgov, it's going well, and it is also a very specific stack. He's refusing to compare himself to other companies. he's saying, well, we have a special need and we're catering to our special need. I think um, my thoughts on these comments in general on Waymo's position is that I think they are absolutely not clear in what they're trying to achieve. What is their mission? What is their goal? If their mission is to proliferate self-driving cars, that is not a mission. That is not a goal. That is, in fact, just, I mean, you can't have a mission just proliferating a technology for the sake of the technology. Waymo's mission, actually, here's Waymo's mission. I want to read it just to be clear about it. So Waymo's mission is to make it safe and easy for people and things to get where they're going. This is the official mission of Waymo. I don't know what to do with that. I think my suspicion is probably right that there is something that they're trying to achieve, which is get people from A to B, a bit like airlines, they're doing that, or trains. But the underlying mission of Waymo is to proliferate the technology, to really make a technology work. It's very exciting. It's a big engineering feast, and Google likes stuff like that. They have money, they can deploy it. And there's potentially a large market. I think this is really what's behind all this. And that's why you're getting these unclear statements. And I want to say a few things about the technology stack of Waymo. First and foremost, it's not clear. So are you end-to-end learning or not? Are you using Alphabet's research and breakthroughs in some of the real machine learning tasks? Or is this even an oxymoron? Because machine learning, the way machine learning works, at least according to machine learning experts, one of them being Sebastian Thrun, who founded Waymo, or Google X back then, the self-driving car effort of Google X, which then became Waymo. He says that machine learning is finding patterns and making predictions. So that's it. So you want to find patterns and make predictions in driving. That probably can work at some point. It definitely works in a controlled environment like Phoenix. Actually, that's probably not such a hard problem. It's a little bit like the controlled environment in a highway, which, by the way, that problem is almost solved by camera only. I would like to see less political and emotional comments about LiDAR. LiDAR is a small thing. Maybe it's not a small thing. I think it's a small thing, but it shows how emotional and ego-laden this whole conversation is, because it says, Musk says LiDAR is stupid. Waymo says, no, it's not stupid. It's necessary. And why would you not use it? Because it makes you better. He says, Dolgov says, the cost and the aesthetics are non-issues. Well, they're non-issues for you because you don't care about making money. But if your goal is to make the car convenient, which includes making look good and cool factor and all that, if that's your goal, and your goal is to lower the price, you have to find solutions around it. This is a typical innovation by necessity. Jim McKelvey's comments, innovation is a necessity, not a choice. This is a perfect example of that. And Google doesn't have that necessity, so there's no need to innovate. Just buy and maybe drive down the cost. But even if you drive down the cost, you still have the issues with sensor fusion, with the algorithms that have to deal with several sensors coming in, and maybe that can be solved on the software side, and I'm sure Google is very good at that. But it's just not such a straightforward thing. I think George Hotz's comments really work here, which is the pre-ImageNet crowd, which started with the DARPANet in the 2000s and developed the cars and sensor fusion, is still stuck in that thinking, and they can't get over the fact that after ImageNet, after 2012, or ImageNet BC and AC, or whatever you want to call it, after that, the world changed. You can do end-to-end learning. You can use vision. Before that, you couldn't use vision. This whole conversation about LiDAR, and I think most of the stack of Waymo is built on the pre-ImageNet stack, which didn't have the luxury of phenomenal vision and the compute power and the algorithms that work with vision. And that's it. So why don't we just agree with that? And why don't we get on and make it a race? Make it a race. QuantumScape's up 3 times since they went public through a SPAC, which is ridiculous. But anyway, it's driving me crazy, and it's going to keep driving me crazy. This is because of Apple, not because of Waymo. But this whole idea that you have this battery technology served on your plate, and that everybody can jump on the bandwagon. This is what Apple was waiting for, and this is probably what Waymo is waiting for, that everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and then Waymo sells the software and Apple makes the cars, and everybody starts driving down the profit margins, and nobody makes money, and we're back in this airlines/car type market where making the hardware is irrelevant, where the only thing that counts is the software and the brand. This is a world that Tesla doesn't like. Could be, and maybe we're going towards that world. So to finalize this episode, I think we're looking at the stock market right now and the stock reactions of Apple, of the leak that they might care about electric cars. We're looking at the QuantumScape stock, LiDAR stock. So clearly the market is saying there is a potential that we have a commoditization of the stack, that battery technology becomes a commodity also because of QuantumScape and similar companies that will copy them. And that then Tesla maybe doesn't have an advantage, and the battery day is not such a big spectacular situation. Or the market is saying, no, it is a huge. Tesla has a 600 billion market cap still. There's enough room for everybody, and the others will fight it on this route, and Tesla will fight it on that route. And both routes will eventually lead to a decarbonized energy infrastructure with intelligent electric cars, and they will be built on different architectures, a little bit like the compute world is today. The mobile compute, for example, is built on the Android and the iOS architecture. So you could have sort of Android being the Apple/Waymo/QuantumScape architecture, and the Tesla architecture being the iOS architecture. This is the situation we're in right now. For us, it's not concerning, but it's annoying. And I don't know what that means as an investor, to be annoyed. But I am annoyed. I feel funny about QuantumScape. I feel funny about Waymo. I feel funny about Apple. I feel funny about people leaking news and pretending that they have a strong technology, when in fact the only company which is driving intelligent electric cars into customers' hands, making a business out of it, and changing the world of transport is Tesla, and it's still Tesla. But let me get back to the question of LiDAR. It's one of those interesting situations. I just feel like it's becoming a political issue because there are other people, other companies. For some reason, it almost feels like they feel like they have the right to part of that market. And I think I want to quote Sam Walton here, the founder of Walmart. Nobody has the right to your wallet. Just because you're Google doesn't mean you have the right to succeed in self-driving cars. It doesn't mean that customers should use your product. Just because you're Apple, it doesn't mean your customers should use your product. This is something that I feel like it's not very clear. And a lot of people on Wall Street, look, Wall Street just is taking bets, and that's fine. If you throw a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, if NEO has a $50 billion market cap, if QuantumScape has a $40 billion market cap, then why wouldn't you give Apple 20, 30, or 50 billion market cap just because they could potentially succeed in electric cars? So this is a possibility, and I don't think I want to take Wall Street too seriously here, and I don't want to get excited about analysts writing. They have to do their job. They have to generate headlines. Reuters is leaking this article today as well. They have to generate headlines. I think in the end, when the rubber meets the road, we're looking hopefully at a high, maybe 800,000-900,000 cars delivered next year by Tesla. We're looking at 20 million cars by 2030. We're looking at sub $100 per kilowatt hour battery cost. Probably next year we're going towards 50 and probably lower, driven by the battery day strategy outline that Drew Balino and Musk gave us. Those are the things that matter. The advance in battery technology, drivetrain, battery management software, driving efficiency, making their cars better and more convenient. Again, convenience and price. Convenience and price. This is what Tesla is driving. And these other competitors, this noise, all this stuff is important. But as long as they can drive convenience and price, I think Tesla is going to be fine. Thank you.